Welcome back, everyone, to the Mom with Moms podcast. I am so excited to introduce our guest today, Shannon Russell of Second Act Success, local Monmouth County mom, author, business owner. Shannon and I have known each other for probably like 6 or 7 years now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because in your former business, we started working together when I started hosting events, right?
Yeah,
For
exactly.
Snapology. So you may have even seen her at some of our older or past events, right? On the turf,
Yes.
offering some really cool STEAM activities for the kids. So thank you. I'm so excited to have you on.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Toms River, New Jersey, so Ocean County.
Uh-huh.
But then I moved to New York, moved to Los Angeles, and when we came back, we moved to Monmouth County.
Oh, okay. So where did you go to school?
I went to school at Elon University in North Carolina.
My sister wanted to go there. She ended up
Yeah.
going to NYU, but she loved Elon.
It's nice. It's a little bubble.
It's small. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great school. And what did you major in?
Communications and film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
they had
wow.
a really
So
great
you really
program.
went down that path.
I did. Yeah.
And what happened after you left school?
Well, I knew I wanted to work in TV since I was 5.
Okay.
So I interned at MTV and CBS during college, and then I got my job at MTV right out of college. So I moved to Hoboken, worked in New York City, and was basically at MTV for about 16 years on and off. So I
Wow.
worked for 3 years and then moved to Los Angeles and worked at a bunch of different companies, but always came back and did MTV New Year's and Spring Break and all of those fun shows.
Okay. So what was that like? What were you a producer? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
I started as a production assistant and then moved up to a producer, executive producer. And yeah, it was a dream job because it was back when MTV was cool, Carson Daly, Total Request Live, in the middle of Times Square. And
Do you know him?
yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I love his wife.
Oh, I know.
I don't know her personally, but
Yeah.
I love her
On the Today
Instagram.
Show.
And
Yeah.
just her content on Instagram is so cute.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I mean, it was back when every rock star, hip hop star, everyone would come through. And so it was the most incredible experience to be in and when you're in your early 20s.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. I grew up, I think we all did, watching MTV and Carson Daly. And actually, I was in Times Square the other day, and I guess the spot where they had TRL, it's vacant, right?
Yeah.
It's weird.
They've had a few other companies come in, but yeah, it's totally blank now.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I was going to double check. I'm I think that's where it was. Must be, because it looks so much like it. It's all blacked out, though.
Yeah.
I
I know.
I hope they do something with it.
It's depressing.
So you, how did you meet your husband?
At TV Guide Network in Los
Okay.
Angeles. Yeah. So in LA, I worked at E! And Yahoo! And a bunch of different places, but we met in an elevator at the TV Guide Network producing shows. Back in the day, TV Guide would have a channel, and it was,
remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was 3/4 of the screen, and then the scroll would be at the bottom.
You'd have to wait and watch to
Yes.
see when your show was going to be on.
Exactly.
Unless you had the book.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
They also had a book.
They had a book,
you
too.
Subscribed to.
Yep.
It's so funny.
But we would do the television shows that would air in the top, and I worked on an American Idol show, and he worked on something else at the time. But yeah, we met there.
Okay. So what made
Yeah.
you decide to move back here?
Well, we were together for several years, got married in Santa Barbara, continued to live in LA, but then we had my first son.
Okay.
And we were the first of our friends to have kids, and it was just a complete shock in that town, and I needed to get back to my family. So we moved back to Ocean County for a little bit while we looked for a house, and then we decided on Monmouth County just because then grandparents were 30 minutes away, and we could commute to the city.
Okay.
So yeah, it was
So you
perfect.
were still working in that industry?
Yes.
As a young mom? Okay.
Yeah, I came back to MTV when I came back to the East Coast.
Okay. Oh, interesting. And does your husband still work in that industry too?
He does,
Okay.
yeah. He works for a company in Los Angeles, but works from home ever since the pandemic, and then he just flies for his shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're living in Monmouth County, and then tell me what happens next. You have your second, I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I was pregnant with my second, I had kind of my aha moment of I can't just keep running to the bus and trying to get to daycare. And with my husband working long hours and traveling, it was just too much. I missed my first son's first birthday and Halloween because I was traveling. So it was with the second one, I just wanted I wanted to be present. I just wanted to not have to do the commute all the time. So I decided to leave TV without really a plan, but I just knew I wanted to like produce my own life and figure out what was next.
Is that industry very, like, it's not 9 to 5, right?
No. They like to say it is. It was always 10 to 6. Like, we were cool. We can come in a little late. But then you end up staying forever. And then in New York City with the commute, it was just a lot.
Right.
And I was constantly traveling for different shows.
So I was going to say, like, if you're producing things, don't they work until, like very late hours sometimes? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, because you're based on like the celebrities or the crew schedule. And, you know, I would shoot events at like South by Southwest and, you know, overseas and things like that. So you're just beholden to the schedule of the talent.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so funny that now this area is becoming, I guess, like a hub for TV production and shows. One of my favorite shows on Netflix, The Four Seasons. I don't know if you saw it.
Yes.
So good. I watched it like 15 times because I've said this before, but I am siloed most of the time working on content and stuff like that with Mom with Moms, and I'm usually by myself. So I watch like a lot of TV to kind of like help pass the time, and it just makes it feel like there's someone like with me. Right? So I just loved that one. I kept putting it like back on because it was so good, and like I half watch it, so I'm like, wait, what happened? And then I go back, whatever.
It's really good.
But they're filming the second series here, 4 seasons in Ocean Grove, like right now.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So like Tina Fey is here, and some of the other actors and actresses on the show, and Tina Fey and some of the production crew were at Pascal and Sabine the other night, like in Asbury.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like a picture of them, and like half of them look so tired, and I was thinking how like, you know, like you know, you see celebrities and you're like, just, oh my gosh, can I get a picture and stuff? And that is the life that I think they, you know, sign on for. But also, like, you know, they're probably exhausted. It's like a long day. They looked like they did not want to have their picture taken.
But they come to this small town. It's totally expected.
In Ocean Grove, especially, you know. So,
how funny.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
But it's interesting to see, like, how, like, we're probably going to be an area where, like, you see celebrities pretty often now, right?
Yeah, with Netflix and all of that,
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
I guess depending on how you look at it.
I know.
Not for the real estate market.
I know, seriously. For us, it's good if we ever want to sell and move.
Right.
But.
So you have your second son, and you leave your corporate role. And then what happened after that?
I spent like a year trying to figure out what else I could do with my skills. And it was a lot of just throwing things at the wall, trying to figure it out. And I was looking at my 3-year-old who was building with Legos, like Duplos at the time. And he was just quiet, and I was able to do the dishes and get stuff done. And I was like, you know what, there's something to this. So I started researching what it would be like to open a STEM center for kids, teaching STEM or STEAM education. And as I did that, I found a franchise that does that. And so I opened a Snapology franchise in Monmouth County and ran that for 8 years. And I was able to really be present with the kids and run it out of my home and have a local brick and mortar. And it fits so perfectly at that time.
For that time when they were little. Because you could bring them to the space.
Yeah.
And then bring them to, you know, like I think they came to my events at some, right?
Yes, they did. They came. They loved it.
And your son and my daughter are the same age, right?
Yes.
So, or around, how old is your son?
10.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was perfect, and it was, you know, and you did such a good job with it too.
Thank
like
you.
Every park, like the park system had Snapology classes, and you know, you'd pop-ups everywhere. Like you were so good at collaborating with local businesses. Like
it was fun.
It was no, we saw the logo like everywhere.
Yeah,
it was great. It was so good, and we loved having you at our events.
Yeah.
So you're raising your young children, right? And running a business. So what was that like? Because you had worked in corporate and not in that world, like at all, like STEM or running a business, having a brick and mortar. Like, did that come naturally to you?
I had no idea if it would, but as I started, it did. And I started having moms say, "Oh, what grade did you teach?" And I took that as the biggest compliment, because I was like, well, no, I'm actually a television producer. And it would spark this conversation. But it made me think, okay, I'm doing something well with these kids. Because in the beginning, I was teaching all of the classes, and I was going into all of the schools myself. And then eventually I stepped back and hired a really big team of teachers. But yeah, I saw that it was really that communication, I think, that I always had to have in television of communicating with the crew or my talent or agencies or studio heads, that I was communicating now with partners and kids and families. And so I took a lot of those skills with me.
Okay.
And then just kind of ran with it. It was really just like a television production, but smaller on my own personal scale of my business.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So you are learning all of these, kind of new skills essentially. And I know you had started Second Act before you sold Snapology. So how did that all kind of come to be?
Yeah.
Tell us what Second Act is.
Sure. Yeah. So running Snapology was amazing. I had my brick and mortar, and there everything was kind of running like clockwork. I had an amazing team.
Okay.
And it was really the customers that were asking me when they would ask, what did I teach? What grades did I teach? And they'd say, oh, you went from TV to this. Like, can you help me? So it was really like 2 customers that I remember on 2 different occasions asked me if I could help them figure out how to start a business.
Oh.
And it just sparked that, wow, there's a lot of us that are young moms and are trying to figure it out. And maybe what we chose at 22 out of college to become our career path doesn't fit later in life. Mm-hmm. And so I realized that I was able to create something really great, and like, why not help other women figure that out too, especially where we live, having such a long commute into the city. Like, that really wears on you when you're trying to get home for school pickup and, after school activities. And so, yeah, that's where it sparked this idea. And I began my podcast, Second Act Success. I think I started that in around 2021 or 2022.
Okay.
And then I started just taking clients, like really organically, like just local customers and local moms. And then through the podcast, getting other clients and building out programs of like, okay, this is how you can start your own business. And so it was growing while I was running Snapology.
Okay.
So then when I got to a point of like, I think my heart has shifted from helping families to helping women.
Yeah.
And I put the business on the market and was able to sell it in 2024. And then I said, okay, I'm 1,000% into doing my coaching full time.
Okay.
Which is what I wanted to do. So it kind of worked out really well, but was scary at the same time because Snapology was so successful and it brought a lot of money into the family. And now I was taking that away to focus on this. So
right. Oh yeah. I know. I can really relate to that. One of the things that we've also collaborated on is you've hosted some breakout sessions at our Pillar Summits the last couple of years, and I have always felt like, prior to me even starting Mom with Moms, like I can relate to the grind and just like the daycare and picking up and being exhausted and getting home at 6:30, 7 o'clock and dinner and just like doing it all, rinse and repeat the next day. Yeah. And then going into running Mom with Moms where you're like, wait, what? How does this work? Kind of like, just like finding people to work at event, like all of these different things that like are not easily accessible, right?
Yeah.
So, with our Pillar Summits, one of my passions was to, bring to light like a lot of the different resources that are available for moms, and not specifically like if they want to, just start their own business, but, maybe just finding new opportunities or finding more flexible work or, just kind of, if you are struggling or burnt out or just kind of like, or lost or just don't know what path to go down, what's available for moms, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's like, it's just challenging to access that information. Like, we had a lot of the different programs from the state that came to, as vendors and stuff that highlighted a lot of the different like small business loans and just different things, but it's hard to access that information. Like I think a lot of, so many people act out of fear, right? Mm-hmm. They don't do things because it's like, oh, I can't, oh, that's not for me. Oh, I wouldn't know how, right? And so they kind of just like give up before even starting.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm sure you found like there's just so many women that really need like that kind of like, oh, you can do this. And I love that like you really like help that, and help women like really get to that next step. So tell me what that's like.
Yeah, well, and just to your point, like when I began my franchise, I had a support with the franchise, with other franchise owners to help me as I was learning, which was really nice. But when you start a business completely on your own and you're building it from the ground up, it's different because you are so by yourself. So I like to be that accountability partner and that person that's like, okay, well, this is what I've done in, corporate and a brick and mortar and a franchise. And now as an online business, owner, consultant, coach, let me help you in whatever way you need. And these are some resources. And here, let me hold your hand. Because I find with a lot of women that I talk to, they get so excited and then they either jump to the shiny object that seems like it's better than where they are, and they realize, I didn't realize it was going to be like this, and they revert back.
Right.
Or they just don't know where to go, and so it's scary, and they just revert back and stay there and stay stuck.
Yeah.
So it's just saying, well, no, there's a way to move forward. And that's kind of where I just try to be that guide and helping and saying, what is your idea? Let's do the research. Let's make sure that this is exactly what it is that you want to step into as your second act, so that you can feel fully empowered and confident. And do it in a way where you're not causing chaos in your life too. Like strategically saying this might take 6 months or longer, but let's save the money that you need. Let's get all the pieces in the place, like the website and this and that. And then this way, when it comes time, you're really ready.
Yeah. And you feel like, excited and confident and not like a sense of dread where it's like, there's no way I can do this. Right?
Exactly.
So,
it's like learn before you leap.
Yeah. Yeah. But also like still take the leap, right?
Yeah.
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 Do you find that, so how, like, do you work with women where, or anyone like that, they have maybe an idea and they're not really sure if that even could be a business, and like kind of help them develop like whether or not it's something that you could like they could bring to fruition?
Yeah, and I've had clients who come with several different ideas, and it's once we start, I'm really big on the research phase.
Okay.
So once we start doing the research, they might say, ooh, that actually wouldn't fit into my life. Or, I always ask, what is your why? Like, why are you making this change? For me, I wanted to be present for the kids. Mm-hmm. So any opportunity that I look in, it's, can I still be present? Can I pick up after school? Go back to your why. And I had one client once who was homeschooling, and so she didn't have a lot of free time.
Right.
And as she's looking to become a Pilates instructor and this and that, every single thing didn't fit her why. Mm-hmm. And so we would cross it off the list until finally she ended up opening an Etsy shop.
Okay.
But it worked with her schedule. But it was going through all these other ideas to realize, okay, that won't work right now, that won't work, and finding something that would.
Yeah.
And she's still a business owner and she's still being creative, but it was in what worked for her.
Yeah, in that like season of your life. Like,
yeah.
I say all the time, I went to a conference with, our friend Meg from Coast yesterday, the New Jersey Digital Marketing Conference, and I am a person who like would go to networking and conferences and expos like every day of my life. Well, not every day, but like I love it. Like I love going. I love like learning and sitting in sessions and meeting people and like, like when I first started my career, I guess my first like real job was I did like corporate sales for a catering company locally, and I went to every like networking event and chamber event and stuff like that. And I was actually like, I was single. I was like 23 years old, so it was fun because it was like a way to like go out. Because I was also a mom, a single mom at the time. So, so it's like super, super interesting to me. But now like that's not really my life right now. And like I love that I can be home with my daughter, and I just have like I'm in a different season. And I always think to myself, like I'm always trying to create opportunities for myself within my business and my future where like most of it is I'm able to, outside of events and this podcast, like essentially everything I could do from like my couch if I needed to, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think that's, so many mothers' dreams, right? To be able to feel fulfilled within your career, but also to, to be able to be present, right? Or as present as you can be if you're, while you're working.
Absolutely.
And I think that like, like I would say to myself, like, I'll get back to being able to go to those events and stuff. It's just not now,
No. Yeah, exactly.
And offering that opportunity to like, to kind of carve out, right? Like a career for yourself is so special. So,
and it shows the kids too that there's more than just staying in this one path in life, that you can try different things at different phases.
Right.
I think we're showing our kids that.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. I know. I love that part where like you're a role model, right?
Yeah.
And you're kind of showing your sons and your daughters what's possible and the kind of parent that you can be, and that you can do all the things, or at least all, not some lack, and so every day is different, but it's
you try
possible. You try.
Yeah.
Right. So tell me what Second Act Success looks like today.
It's my dream. It's so incredible because I get to help women every day. So I'm doing one-on-one coaching. I have a group coaching program, and I'm speaking, and I have my book out this year.
Yeah, so let's talk about your book.
Yeah, it's called Start Your Second Act. So it really takes my experience of career transition and launching businesses and stories of my clients and just inspiration and things that I teach, my strategy that I work with. So I put it all into a book to kind of inspire other women, other people who don't work with me one-on-one. They can pick up the book, and it really acts like a workbook to help you figure out what your next act is.
Yeah.
Whether it's a business, a career change, writing a book, starting a podcast, anything.
It's like my favorite. I have a stack this high on my bedside of books that I read about, either business, mostly women in business, how they, Kendra Scott's book is actually on my list right now. I love reading about, how someone created something or how to do something, and it's a great book.
Thank you.
It's incredibly empowering, and something that if you are scrolling on Amazon, and you're thinking about it, that's the perfect thing that you should put in your cart, because even if they're not working with you, they can kind of get little tidbits right from what you would suggest and different scenarios.
It just gives you that little incentive to say, okay, if these other people did it, then I can do it too.
Right.
And just kind of, I'm really big on not having regrets at the end of the day, and it being okay, we get this one life. So don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. This way you'll always know that you tried.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to look back. I said that to myself recently, don't look back and wish that you had done it, or tried, even if even if you fail, right?
Yeah.
And that, I think at every, in every person's career, they face some type of failure. And it's important lessons, but also you survive it, and you learn from it, and you just kind of keep going. What are some lessons that you've learned from the people that you've worked with?
That success can look differently. I have one client now who is at retirement age, and she doesn't want to retire, but she gave her notice, and she's taking everything she's done in her 25-year corporate job, and she's creating a consulting business.
Wow.
And she wants to be able to travel the world. She's single, just with cats. She is a single woman who just wants to see the world. And now this business that I'm helping her build will enable her to do that. So that's really cool. Whereas another client wanted to build a brick and mortar, and so we worked together because I had that experience and helped her. Now she has a successful brick and mortar, children's center, our friend Erin at Raising Sunshine here in Monmouth County. Yeah. So they're just different goals, and it's just saying, okay, success is different for everyone, and let's see what you want to do and how far you can go, and then to be open for it to change too. I have another client who has a really well-paying job in the city, but she doesn't know if she can do it because she's got her kids and she wants to be present. So we're building this side business. And just yesterday, she was like, I think I could go in a different direction. And I'm like, yeah, you can. It doesn't have to be exactly what you set out to do. You can see other opportunities and then follow that path. So so sometimes we'll start in one direction to build one thing, and it'll just veer into something else. And whatever feels good to you.
Yeah.
And I like seeing women who their faces open up, wow, I really can do this.
Yeah.
And I can use my skills. It's not a waste when when you transition from one thing to the next.
Right.
You're just adding on to your lifelong resume.
That's so important too, kind of recognizing those skill sets that you have, and that everything's a stepping stone, and the things that you thought were even meaningless when you were working, maybe getting coffee for for people back in the day, or I used to do this newsletter for a company I worked for, and no one even cared about it. They didn't have a newsletter, and I was like, no, you guys should really have one, but it wasn't important to them. but I just kept doing it anyway every month. But like, and I remember like it was like constant contact, and I would just be like, oh, like, you know, just throwing it together. But I really liked it. And now like, you know, like that's what I do. Like, it's just so funny that, you know, like you don't even realize like the things that you pick up along the way, you'll definitely end up using, and the things that bring you joy. Yeah. Right. And like kind of spark that, give you that enthusiasm to go to work, right?
You're not dreading it, right? You're excited about what you're creating.
Yeah. Do you find that many of your clients are kind of in that space where they just like hate Monday?
Yeah. It's usually just like, I'm stuck, just help me. But it's always like, okay, well, what would you not feel stuck in? Because I've also talked to women who they do make that change and they're in the same position. Because you're jumping for just any kind of change, but it's not the right change. So it's nice to like really see like what will make you happy. And like, again, learn before you leap, do that research, and then go in with that confidence.
Do you find that most people like, do you find that most people leap into something because it brings them joy because of what it is they're doing, or because it makes good money?
Oh, I think it's more of what they're doing, actually.
Okay.
And which I like. Mm-hmm. I feel like you and I do that too. Yep. It's like, what do you like? And then the money will come in, and you can figure out different ways. So I like that. I like that it's not about the money. Yeah. And it's more about, well, in this chapter of my life, I want to be fulfilled. I've done everything for the money for the, you know, this last 10, 15 years. Now it's all about like, what can I do that brings me joy? Yeah. So I like that it's like that for most people.
And that's also important to note, because I think like for a long time, I always was like, and I still like have to work on it, where you're like coming from like this fear-based, like kind of, you know, what was like, I read, oh my gosh, the author, it's just not going to come to me now. She has a set of books about like the universe is behind you, and
Gabby Bernstein.
And I have to like reread her books a lot of the time, because like I get into a mindset, and it's hard to like stay in her. You have to do the meditations and whatever.
Exactly.
But like this fear-based, like, I'm going to be broke, I'm going to whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to, you know, like, and you just always have to kind of say, no, like, just keep doing what you're doing, and the money does come. Like, it does come, like, it, you know, I've had so many examples of this happening, but like you know, you just keep going, and you keep doing the right thing, and you keep working hard, and you keep like giving value, right? To like what it is you're working on, and somehow like the universe kind of has your back, which is
I think so.
The title of her book.
Yes, it's so true. And I think there's so many nowadays, like the world that we live in, there's so many opportunities for different revenue streams.
Yes,
you know, between online and even like in mine, like I speak, and I speak on stages and get paid for it. And it's like, well, okay, that's another revenue stream.
Yes.
So let me keep doing that and exploring that. So there's different things that you can do to bring money into your business if you're just a little creative.
I'm pulling it up right now. Do you follow Chief Network?
No.
So it's a I guess a group, like a membership group, and a lot of CEOs and like business heads and stuff, but it's women led. And I know a little bit about it, but I follow it on Instagram. But today they posted something about an article they posted, Beyond the Ladder, why multi-hyphenate leaders are the future. And how, like, you know, you could be, you know, it says women in particular have mastered a multi-hyphenate model of leadership out of necessity, but they could be authors, CEOs, board members, storytellers, like, and it's not frowned upon anymore to, like, you know, give your all. I mean, I'm sure it still exists, but like it's more accepted to have like multiple streams of income, right? And like multiple different roles, I guess, essentially.
That is
as a
so
woman.
great.
So
that's so great.
Yeah.
And it's more fun and more creative that way too, I think. And just even like we were talking, like I took a little bit of Snapology and I work with corporations. Like just think of like different ways, different opportunities that come and be open to it.
Yeah.
And then say, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then you don't be afraid to expand on what you're already building.
Yeah.
I love that so much. It's exciting.
It is. I love the narrative of people say, you know, there's a lot of negatives to social media, but there's also so many positives and so many ways that you can learn and feel like inspired, right? That you're kind of on the right path.
Absolutely.
I love to follow, you know, just all of it to kind of continue down that road. So tell everyone where we can find you. We can get your book on Amazon, right?
It's on Amazon. Start Your Second Act. Yeah, and everything's on my website, secondactsuccess.co.
Okay.
Links to everything. Yeah.
To everything. And if you are, I know multiple local moms and women who have worked with Shannon, personally, and all have, had just glowing things to say of how you really help them, like from inception of an idea to to bringing them across the finish line. So if you are thinking about starting your second act, whatever that looks like to you, definitely reach out to Shannon and schedule a call. And you have your podcast too, right?
Yeah, Second Act Success. So everything's on the website there, how to work with me and free resources and all of that. So
and I was on it.
You were, yes.
Last year.
I wish I remembered what episode number. I'll have to give it to you.
Okay.
But yeah, that was such a great conversation just to hear you coming up and how you formed Monmouth Moms and your whole career transition too.
Yeah, I know. It was fitting for the podcast.
It was perfect.
For sure. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For sharing your story. You're incredible. And
you're incredible.
I hope you come on it soon.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks.